All right, so now we're going to go ahead and begin the second part of our demo. And we're going to go into the clouds right above the sunset. So we're going to stay in the same area we've been working in, and we're just going to dive in right here. So if you look, it's a really pretty purple to orange. So I'm going to take a little bit of purple, and I'm going to go around the top of my cloud and outline it. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little more clearly. Oh, maybe not. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go along the edge where I had that watermark. If you notice in the picture, above the cloud is really white, or it's like a really pretty yellow. So we're going to ignore that area. I'm going to show you how to ignore that area in a second once this dries. I'm not going to go too far. I'm just going to stay in this area. Don't try to outline the whole thing. Just work in an area. Notice how all the paint's still wet. It's starting to dry though. So just a couple more clouds there. I'm going to go ahead and blend it down just a little bit. Keep it nice and soft. Keep my edge soft, that is, like this area. Okay, now I'm going to come in with just a little bit more purple. And I'm going to come in with a little bit of orange right above the sun. I'm actually going to use some raw sienna. That might be prettier. A little bit of orange. It's up to you. Right above. Again, I can't capture that beautiful orange that's in the picture, but we can get close with watercolor. Notice how I have that bridge of paper right between the two. Now it's turning into kind of a mucky color. So what I'm thinking is if I add a little bit of red to it, that's going to soften. Red naturally goes into purple. They're right next to each other on the color wheel. And red obviously blends into orange as well. Bring in a little bit of that. And when this dries, believe it or not, I think it's going to be really, really pretty. With a little bit of red again right here. Blend that in to make like a really nice violet. Remember, I can always make these colors a little bit darker or more vibrant later on when it's dry. I'm going to make kind of a nice pretty jaggedy cloud edge right here. And it kind of fades. This is that area, if you look in hold on, let me make this a little bigger. In H7 and G7, there's that white cloud that kind of comes out. That's that cloud right here. So I'm going to kind of soften that. I'm going to grab my bigger brush real quick. So I'm working in a bigger area. So notice how I just transitioned into a bigger brush real quick. That takes some practice. Don't worry if it makes you a little nervous at first. When I first started watercoloring, all of my paintings were with the same size brush. So if that's more comfortable for you for now, that's totally fine. Okay, I don't have to paint this whole cloud for the demo. I'm just going to pull this. And then this is what I was talking about earlier in the other video. Make sure to just soften that edge a little bit, so you can come back to it and it's not super heavy. I'm going to erase this. Just like so. Okay, so now let's go in here and let's do those really soft purple rays. So there's just the slightest bit of a yellow background. So I'm going to add just a little bit of my raw sienna. I'm going to soften it with a little bit of white. Okay, and around the cloud there's that real pretty yellow that you guys can see. The catch is it's not really yellow, it's mostly white, and so you'll be tempted to use yellow paint. You don't want to do that. So we're just going to go along the edge. Notice the size brush I'm using, bigger one. A little water, raw sienna. And it's kind of bumpy, so I'm just going to kind of make it kind of messy. Okay, now I'm going to take my water, move it across, and I'm noticing, see how that has that pretty glow? So, and that'll look even better when it's dry. But now there's some purple over here in the picture, so I'm going to take some of my pastel purple over here. I'm just going to gently and then I'm just going to use some water and make it really pretty with some wet on wet. So to do that, I just added some water, and then I just can come in as it's drying and keep adding on. So I'm just going to take a little bit of raw sienna, or I'm sorry, purple and white. I'm going to lay that back on. Not perfect, so I'm going to try to blend some of those in. When I say perfect, it's not like 5 individual rays. A little bit more. We'll see how that looks when it's dry. I'm noticing it's a little more orangey over here, or actually a little more purpley. Right along the edge here. Over here there's some really nice purple, so I'm going to add a little purple right along the edge here. Use my water. A bit of orange too. That's really pretty. Maybe use a little raw sienna and orange. I'm noticing it's a little bit more blue, kind of right around this area in the picture. So I'm going to take a little bit of blue and add a little white. Kind of bring that in just a little bit. A lot of water. And we'll see how that looks when it's all dry.